aber die Art und Weise. Hello, how are you doing today? Good. I see you do have an appointment with us. Yes. Could you hold out your wrist, please? My wrist? Your wrist?
I just wanted to let you know you are welcome to take photographs. Thank you. It's been approved by the Public Relations Department. Thank you.
I'll just pass you over to Sophia. She'll be with you very shortly. Thank you. Please stand in the back room. Off to the waiting room. Please stand in the back room. Please stand in the back room. Could you wait in the waiting room? Could you wait in the waiting room? Please stand in the back hall. Could you go to the waiting room? Please stand in the back hall. Please stand in the back hall.
Thank you. Thank you. Please stay here by this wall. Thank you. Excuse me, please go through those doors out into the waiting room.
I prefer not.
You have to request that you do according to the system. It's required. It's part of your appointment today.
I would prefer not.
You would prefer not to? Okay, I'll have to check with our public relations department. I'll be back with you.
Thank you for coming today. I know it's must be hard. You're doing okay, but we're going to need your support. I've asked you today because I want to ask you if you can care for someone. I know this must be difficult and it can be pretty overwhelming, but please know the system is there to support you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Most people in your situation can feel that they just can't keep going. So what do you think? Can I care for someone? What I want you to do is go out to the waiting room and select someone. I'm going to take this person to a place that is comfortable for the both of you. Most importantly, don't say anything until you get there. It can be inside or outside, upstairs or downstairs, anywhere you like. Don't say anything until you get there, and when you do, ask, are you well? Want you to try and converse? Want you to try and reflect? And when you're ready, come back here to the centre, okay? But for now, you're just going to have to stand by for a bit longer. It shouldn't be too long, but you might have to wait a bit longer. In the meantime, I've got some pamphlets for you. Just your rights and responsibilities, really. This is nothing major. I'll read them to you, really. Let's go for this. Pretty boring stuff, just a lot, really. Your rights and responsibilities. And providing for patients and their families. Everyone seeking or receiving healthcare in Australia has certain rights and responsibilities. They include the right to access, safety, respect, communication, participation, privacy, and to comment on their care. This booklet provides you with information on how these rights are achieved in the public health system and the responsibilities that come with them. Basically outlines new rights and responsibilities, that kind of stuff, nothing major. And if you want to make a complaint or whatnot, feel free, or a compliment. This outline all of that for you, okay? You have access to the system, that's on one page. And know that anything you divulge is confidential and we respect that, okay? Your right to receive visitors will be respected and will be given privacy. You have the right to have visitors and guidelines as well. Because there are a range of things, but I think I'll leave you to that. When you're ready, remember what you have to do. Go out and select someone. Take them to that special spot. Be with them there and come back here when you're ready. I want you to make your way towards the door. Just So it has to take whether it's a little bit longer to get ready to move.
Can we do it in pigs?
It depends. When you get to the door and I call you first, then it's okay.
Next, please. Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please. Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please. Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please.
Next, please. Next, please. Next,
I can't offer you anything you saw with the real program. Right, just one second. It's
great.
stuck together.
It's a big crate. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm right here. You can hold my elbow if that makes you feel more comfortable.
I can hear you.
That's good.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, are you well?
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm working really hard and I'm trying to find more time.
Who are you? Wait, what's going on? Why are you asking those questions?
That's an excellent question. I'm Marita.
Are you wait, are you one of the audience members? No.
Yes.
You are? Are you really? Why have you taken me away? Have you come from inside? Is this what's going on? Oh no.
Away.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not just you. Everyone's in a very
cool.
similar
Are you
situation.
well? Your house is like, speak to someone there and you're like, oh, okay.
The kind of lobbies for changing legislation around sexual discrimination law and that kind of stuff. At the moment there are loopholes for organisations which identify or which are considered faith-based. We don't think that's great. Yeah. Do you hate me? Just think of beef soup. You got really sad
So they weren't instructed to take the gear, so they're free to take it off. So you're choosing to keep it on.
Not really.
The difficulty is that if you're a strong silent,
well, there's here
you
is
somebody can't speak.
Yeah, originally I didn't. So you go.
I'm supposed to get started.
and a pencil. And now I invite you to take off the blindfolds and the earmuffs and the tape. Off your butts. We invite you to reflect on your experience with them tonight. And please write down the most resonant response on your sheet. On your paper, write down your most resonant experience on your sheet.
Tonight. It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's like make sure it's in returns from this experience. We're doing emojis.
Yeah, we'll just sort of wait.
Now, if I want to turn and look into the corners of the room, you'll notice some white lines on the floor. Everyone, please pick up your chair and choose a white line and line up the front two legs of your chair with it, and then sit down. Rhannon. This is Justin. Justin is a mathematician. I come from the world of dance. Over the last couple of months, we've been meeting and talking, and we've found that one of the main things our practice connects on is the world of symmetry.
As mathematicians, we like to find patterns in the world, symmetrical patterns. So I want you to imagine that there's a giant mirror running through the center of the room. The base of the mirror is this white line, and the mirror extends up through the haze across the room. And Rhannon and I are reflections in that mirror. So when I move my left hand, Rhannon moves her right hand. When I move my right hand, Rhannon moves her left hand.
Correct. It's a little tricky sometimes. So what Dustin has explained to me is that with a mirror reflection, there's a right side and a left side. So my right foot is a mirror reflection of my left foot.
Yeah, it's called orientation, and if you look at these two objects that we're holding, they are in fact mirror images of each other. You probably have to come a bit closer, you might have to look after. These ones are called snub cubes. They're one of the 13 Archimedean solids. The faces are equilateral triangles and squares, and they look like some kind of mathematician's toy. And they are some kind of mathematician's toy, but actually there's something more serious behind it. The real world works like this. You've probably heard of thalidomide. Thalidomide was an antidepressant given to pregnant women in the 1950s. The only problem was it caused birth defects. And the reason was that there were two versions of the thalidomide molecule. There was the one which was an antidepressant and its mirror image. Unfortunately, the mirror image caused birth defects, and the scientists didn't realize. And the rest is history.
So what we'd love to do this evening is to give you a slightly physical experience of symmetry. I know it's a bit hot, but it's very simple. You're basically just going to move to another chair. So the first thing I want you to do is look down between your legs and check the letter of the seat that you're sitting in. The letter of the seat that you're sitting in. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is read operation number 1. And you're going to keep in mind that this plane that Justin and I have described is your axis of symmetry. And then I'm going to ask you to do operation number 1.
Yeah, I think I was doing 7.
Yeah, but I have a confidence in that.
Ideally, this group and this group has swapped, and this group and this group has swapped. Maybe. Alright. Let's just see what happens. So, now that you've really thoroughly experienced what a reflection symmetry is, I'm going to describe for you a rotation symmetry. So, this is our axis. This time it's a line, not a plane. For me, it really helps to imagine the whole space as a merry-go-round. And if I was standing here and I chose to go anti-clockwise, I would go around the pole of the merry-go-round this way. And in this situation, if I used my right arm and Justin wanted to be in symmetry to me, he would also use his right arm because we're in the same orientation. Is that right? Yes. So if you do 4 90-degree rotations, you get back to where you began.
Indeed, and you'll notice that the objects that we placed in the space are also rotated 90 degrees across from each other, and that they are in fact the identical object.
Yes, these ones look like identical objects. To me, these ones do not look like identical objects.
Well, you're obviously not a mathematician. What can't you see?
For me, this is very clearly a donut, and this is a cup.
And? So, alright, let me explain. Well, it depends what kind of mathematician you are. If you're a mathematician of spaces and angles and lines, a geometer, obviously these two things look different. They probably taste different too. But if you're a topologist, a mathematician of space, all you really care about is the overall shape of the object. And I want you to imagine that these two objects are made of rubber sheets and you're allowed to pull and bend and stretch the sheets as much as you like. But you can't make holes in them, you can't rip them apart. All these two things are really is a giant blob with a hole in it. So the hole in the middle of the donut is the same thing as the hole in the cup. Yes?
Yeah, I kind of understand. But if I was to, say, take the donut and break it, and pretend I didn't break the other side,
you would then have turned it into an orange.
So now it's equivalent to an orange.
Now it's an orange. And we're playing funny games with you, but actually mathematicians and physicists ask this question about the shape of the universe. What is its topological shape?
Yeah. Great. So, now...
Doesn't sound very interesting.
I know, extremely. Now that we all have such a clear idea of topology and hopefully rotation symmetry, I'm going to ask you to now look down between your legs and identify the number of the seat that you're sitting in. Great. And I'm going to give you a little hint. Basically, we're all going to move one group of seats anti-clockwise. But still, read for me exactly your operation number 2, and let's do really well on this one.
So we've talked about reflection, symmetry of objects, the mirror. We've talked about rotations, the merry-go-round. In some sense, these are fundamental symmetries of objects in our three-dimensional, it looks like it's a three-dimensional world. We're now going to get reflections and rotations to dance. So what I'd like is a few people in each quadrant to come up and stand on this diagonal line. Maybe the front row, but if the front row really doesn't want to do it, we'll accept some back row volunteers as well. About 5 in each quadrant. This will be easy, I promise. Yeah, on the dot is great. Facing the center. There.
Oh, really well done. Great. Okay, so just notice which. Oh, I'll get you to come around and then come. Thank you, you'll be the leader. So, notice which dot you're standing on, whether it's the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, or the fifth one. And what we're going to try is imagining that this here is our axis. We're going to begin with the reflection. So look across that axis to the person that's equivalent to you. Let's aim to pass the person that's equivalent to you by your right shoulder, so that we can each go through the gaps. And let's do it all together and reflect. Come this way. Reflection to begin with. So this is your axis, and you're just going to pop onto the other side of that thing. That's it. Good. Oh, somehow I'm big on that. That's it. Yep. Good. So if we see what it's done, it's kind of like a bow tie that's kind of flipped its sides. Great. All right. What about trying a rotation? If we all imagine we're going to turn anti-clockwise through the space just 90 degrees, you're going to be going to the equivalent dot of your own. Let's rotate. Great, great. People on the outside, you unfortunately have to move a bit faster. Good, good, really good. And perhaps could you just notice where you are now? You're back where you began? Yeah? And what about you? You're opposite, yeah? Are you back where you began? Awesome. Great. So essentially, you guys have returned to where you began, and this axis has flipped.
So that's just another reflection, right? Reflection followed by a rotation is actually just a reflection in the diagonal axis. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, that seems like it's what's happening. We try it again for practice. Let's begin again with the same reflection. We're going to go again through this axis and reflect. Great, good, good. I know it's a bit awkward passing by each other, but really good. And can we do a rotation again, anti-clockwise? Great, good, nice work. Great, and now where are you? Everyone's back where they started? Brilliant, this is working, it's
that
great.
makes sense, right? Because if you have a reflection, you reflect yourself in the mirror, and you reflect yourself back in the mirror, you all should be back where you started. So I'm glad we got it right.
Good. Now there's another way we need to try it in order to prove something that Justin wants to prove. So, can we try it with beginning with the rotation? So, rotating anti-clockwise, 90 degrees, rotate. That's it, really good. Great, good. And now from here, if we try a reflection through the same axis. Same axis, so reflection. Excellent, excellent. You guys are really good. This is great. Noticing now that some of you will have flipped. Who's flipped their position? Great, so it's this axis, and you guys are back where you began. Good, let's try it one more time. Beginning with the rotation, anti-clockwise. Great. Great. And then finishing it off with a reflection and reflect. Good. And now you've all landed back where you began. Excellent. All right. So despite the fact that you took a different pathway, you've still got back to where you began. I'm just going to put on a little bit of music, and maybe we could do it a few more times just to really kind of understand it, not just with our heads, but with our bodies. Is that all right? Good. Let's start with the reflection and reflect. Right. Really good. And rotate. Excellent. Good. Run on the outside. Really good. And reflect. Reflect. Good. Right. Yep. Good. And finish off the rotation. Right. Really good. Excellent. Let's get it up a little bit. work tonight, I need you to try and remember which seat you were sitting in before you came up here. The one just before you came up here. Head back there. Amazing. Really good work.
Thank you. We promised to make reflections and rotations dance, and we did it literally. There is a point behind that. What you notice is that the order in which you do these things matters. So we did a reflection and then a rotation, and this line of people was the axis. But if you did a rotation first and then a reflection, the other line of people were the axis, the people who didn't move. So the order, whether you do one operation first and the other one second or vice versa, gives you a completely different result. That's not what numbers do, right? If you add 2 and 4, you get 6, and it's the same as adding 4 and 2. If you multiply 3 and 5, you get 15. If you multiply 5 and 3, you also get 15. We say that numbers, addition and subtraction, are commutative, and like you're following. And these operations are what we call non-commutative. And quantum mechanics, the science of the physical universe on the sub-microscopic scale, actually depends crucially on the non-commutativity of certain symmetries on not concrete three-dimensional objects, but abstract things called Hilbert spaces. So we've taught you a very, very, very little bit of quantum mechanics tonight.
Brilliant. To finish off, I would love you to look at operation number 3. It's slightly more complex, but you're really
You're experts now. So you're doing 2 things now.
If the operations worked, you would be back in your beginning seat.
Hands up if you're back where you
Did
started.
anyone make it? Oh, well done. Great. Alright, well to celebrate that, dance.
we've decided on performing the final scene from Where Harry Met Sally. Because it's really more of a vignette than anything else about humanity. And we can all relate to it, which we think is really important. We think storytelling is so important. And it also happens to be the perfect cast breakdown too, which was really handy for us. So tonight, Roz, who is the woman to my left, or perhaps just the woman on the screen that's not me, will be playing the role of Meg Ryan, and Eddie, who is the man on the other side, will be playing the role of Billy Crystal or Harry, and I will be one of the extras who's at the party, at the New Year's Eve party. And yeah, that's probably all you need to know for now. Please sit back and enjoy this emotional smorgasbord. We hope through this universal story with these fundamental themes about humanity that it can enlighten your own lives in some way. Great. Alright, well, I'm ready to go, guys.
No, look, not working for me at the moment. I think really I need this sort of stage left, so you know, I've got to start and walk my way through the crowd and everything. So can someone just move me over a little bit to sort of your right, my left?
I actually, I just think Theo will be good at balancing as well to start.
Hey, I'm Misha. Nice to meet you.
What I can see. Is everyone?
Your name is? Hey Claire. Hey Claire, I think you're going to need to be my sort of my legs. So we might have to do this together. So can you just save me? The rest of the day? Okay, so we've got to move this. I'm going to go into the final bit. So I don't know if you want to carry me or whether you want to sort of lift the stool, whatever works for you. But when we get ready to go, we're going to go find Meg. Is that good?
Yeah. Are we going now?
No, just wait. Just wait. Get this set up. So what was your name again? So it's Claire, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool.
Okay. Okay, wait guys, stop for a sec, stop the lights, Emma! Sorry guys, sorry to stop. I just don't quite feel that this is right yet, you know, I mean it's supposed to be a party scene and it's like a packed New York apartment, it's New Year's Eve, it just feels really unnatural that if I'm the only extra at the party, because I'm kind of not talking to anyone, I'm kind of just talking to myself. So I might need some help from a bunch of people. Has anyone got any extras experience? Anyone?
We got some extras now, Claire?
Yeah, there's like two.
Small party.
Yeah.
Get up or have you got some friends you can bring up or?
Yeah, Steve, get up here. Does anybody else want to do it? Ryan?
Yeah, where's Ryan? Is Ryan involved? Get Ryan on.
Yeah. And there's like, now we've got 5. There's 5.
Okay. Okay, what are the other guys saying?
Oh, we need some drinks, guys, we need some drinks.
Yeah, what's your name? Hi, Meg.
Alright, so we can
Yeah, drinks, please. We need some drinks for this party, I think.
Yeah, we're almost there. Just meandering, like, it's like relax. Hi, Meg.
Meg, this is Kaya. Meg.
So we come up safely after this, guys. So let's you know, keep coming to the safety.
Okay,
Oh, not again. What now? I just realised I need champagne. Oh, I need champagne too.
Oh, there's champagne. Whoa.
Yeah,
Is there any champagne?
yeah, champagne.
Champagne's over there.
Champagne.
Alright, we got you some champagne. That's Heaps back there. There's me, and then there's 5 other people. So like all the people. Yeah, there's no dancing. Okay, everybody has champagne and get up on stage. Woo! Oh, that's heaps of people coming. Now the party's getting started. Yay! Woo!
This party is going really well.
Now a dozen. More and more, there's like a dozen people. I'm saying this like you've got 2 drinks. It's the best. Can we have some music? Yeah. What's that? Up the dog.
Away from this guy? Sure. I'll have what she's having. Is that right?
She said she's leaving, damn it.
When it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I love that you get a little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts. I love that after I spent the day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And I love that you were the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night. And it's not because I'm lonely. And it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you realise you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
See? That's why it's just like you, Harry. You say things like that and you make it impossible for me to hate you. And I hate you, Harry. I really hate you.
What happens?
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, kind of. Look, maybe Harry, you just need to like move a little bit more over. Yeah, and you need to turn your face a bit more, Sally. Yeah. No, not like that way. Yeah, that way. That's better. Yeah, heaps better. Now it looks like you make it out real good. Yeah, that's beautiful. Now what happens?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. And the kitchen. And the garden.
Do you want to meet someone new?
You what? Cheese, salami.
It was a pretty happy ending for you.
Chips.
It was a pretty happy ending for you, Sally.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Alright, maybe I'll come and see if there's some food for me.
Alright, cool.
Alright, see you, bye.
See ya, bye.
It's been good. And here's someone else who'd like to say happy New Year.
He disappeared. Hi.
Good job, guys.
Oh. How do I full?
Being there, but you know, like,
How do I full screen this?
sometimes the power of the scene.
It was beautiful. Beautiful extras work. Yeah.
I'm so glad. How did the others go?
Yeah, they were alright. I don't know. I think you upstaged them a little bit. Yeah.
Put me down like
I'm going to drink it.
Yeah. Alright, I'll do that. I'll hand you on.
Can I actually drink it?
Your champagne is really cheap but really flat.
It's a pretty good party, Roz.
You're missing it.
Best news ever.
You're getting documented.
Getting worse.
Nice to meet you. Good luck with your job.
Yeah.